All right, then. Good evening, everybody. And once more, do you see my screen now, blue screen?
Yes, perfect.
Yep.
Excellent. So we are dealing with the question of how to apply the viable system model, how it is to apply the viable system model in the automotive now and in the future, application experiences and the future role of AI. So that's quite an interesting question that a lot of people are discussing currently, and automotive is certainly an area where a lot of things are happening, lots of dynamics. I know that from my own customers. And I'm very happy to welcome Dr. Jan Wehinger tonight, my guest. Hello, Jan.
Hi. Thanks
nice
for inviting
to have
me.
you in this VSM Practitioner Webinar. Just some remarks. What are we actually doing? We are part of Metaforum. I'm your host on behalf of Metaforum. And what we do in Metaforum is we undertake and promote original research, mainly on organizational cybernetics, mainly in the legacy of Stafford Beer, ensure VSM quality in education and practice, and we develop a global community of knowledge and practice with webinars, conferences, publications, websites, and other things. And tonight we are here in one of these VSM Practitioner Webinars. Now, we start this year with Jan on applying the VSM in automotive, and we have a lot of interesting other guests for the rest of this year. We have some application cases by another consultant, but also by a CEO of a bank or somebody from automotive industry. So we have some application cases, and then we also have a topic of operation room related environment for decision related topics to VSM and on VSM gaming. Looking forward to this. It's always on the first Wednesday per month. And now tonight, I would like to introduce Dr. Jan Wehinger. Just you can read it for yourself. You're quite interesting to us tonight because you are quite influential with your own customers. We talk about application, and I think we are talking really about not theories, but application topics. And on the other hand, you're, as I said already, active in an industry that is quite dynamic and demanding also. So how would you describe yourself? What are your most important stepstones, so to speak, Jan?
So, good question. I would say one very important stepstone was my PhD thesis, because that was the time when I was first introduced to the VSM. And then I would say that every single consulting project was kind of a smaller stepstone. Yeah, there were perhaps some major projects. Yeah, but and then obviously to as all of you be part of this time right now, having the chance to be part of the AI transformation, and have the ability to learn every day something new and to apply, not every day, but perhaps every week or every month, some new experience, thoughts, and so on to our consulting tool set and framework.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, and you're one of the rare species that really are working with the viable system model actively also with your clients. So that's quite interesting also. What are your experiences about that? We're very looking forward very much to what you will tell us about AI, about the VSM, about your experiences with customers. I get you came across the VSM through your professor, through your studies. That's what you told me.
Yeah. I did my PhD thesis with the University of Braunschweig with Professor Hermann, Yeah, he's more in the production and life cycle management topics. And yeah, he did some other PhD theses before in the field of the VSM and applied it to some cases in production and logistics and so on, and one in recycling, I would say, and product launch. Yeah, and then he told me about it, and I it was kind complicated for me to understand what he was telling me. Yeah, and then after this meeting, I Googled everything, went on YouTube, watched every video I was able to find, and yeah, then I thought by myself, that's a fantastic model, and I tried to, become one of them, so to say, a few people who might be able to say that, hey, I have a glimpse of what the VSM really is. Yeah.
Very good. So let's just dive into it, I guess.
Yes.
Right? I'm not sure. Do you have to make you a presenter too somehow, or
No,
can you share already?
I try to start my presentation, and hopefully you can see now
something happens.
a
Beautiful.
blue
It
chart.
works.
So what
just
I
as a
try-
framework, I think we're gonna listen to you for about half an hour or so.
Yeah.
Maybe you ask some questions. You can put your questions in the chat if you like to interrupt, and then I can maybe interrupt the presentation with a question or two, also for myself. And the rest of the time, I think you would start a little bit about discussing things, right? And let's see that we maybe close at around 60 minutes, around 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Excellent. Take it away.
So I will try to answer the following question. Is the VSM a 50-year-old solution to a 2026 problem? So what you can expect is, after a short introduction, view on the automotive sector right now, what's going on and why is variety rising. Then some charts about AI, and then some thoughts about why could the VSM be the answer for a lot of questions we are facing right now because of AI. And let's dive in. I told already some details about my history, so I won't go on over every detail. So just that you know, I'm into the VSM yet, right now for more than 17 years, and did some publications, some speeches, a lot of projects. And for the VSM experts in this call, perhaps a glimpse, what did I do in my PhD thesis? I tried to some theoretical stuff, but what the practicable output? I built a software prototype called Viable System Analyzer, and it was on a big touch table. You were able to browse and fly through your organization, and I built a data model that you can model your organization from an innovation management perspective and allocate people, methods, meeting structures, and so on every recursion level and to every system. And you asked the question, what are my main experience with VSM with my customers, Martin? And the main learning from my perspective is really to overcome the entry level of understanding, so to say, that it's really hard, or it takes time to include people into the world of VSM. So what did I do? You can see it in the middle. I try to make it a little bit more understandable with new forms of visualization. That I don't go into the details. But that I used a scheme of a helicopter for system 3-star, and a tower for system 2, and this visualization I shared with some top managers in a big automotive manufacturer. You can guess which one it was. And one of them printed it out, put it in his meeting room, and referenced in some meetings to this chart and tried to map his decisions and so on against the VSM.
And that was around 2010, so way before AI.
It was around 2012, I would say. And after I left VW, one of his assistants called me and said, "Hey Jan, you left a picture here with red colors and so on and blue colors. We need this one." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And then after arguing some minutes, okay, you need the visualization of the VSM. And then I had to send a PDF, and because
so somehow it spoke to them, right?
It resonates, and I think that it's one of the problems is the world of VSM is not really inclusive, it's more exclusive. The same thing we see in the agile world, in the IT world. You have to learn a lot of vocabulary to be part of the Scrum and Agile and so on world. And same with the VSM, but that was one little step to make it a bit more understandable. So, but it's not today about the things I did in the past. I would like to invite you to the automotive sector, and I will just run regarding the time a little bit faster through the charts. If there are any questions, we can do it as you would be at the dentist. You raise your hand and I stop talking, and then it's your turn. So what is changing in automotive right now? Everyone is talking about software-defined vehicle, and mainly the product, the car, is changing because it's becoming more digital. If you want to build a more digital driven car, you need different layers. One is infotainment, UI, UX. You have to connect your car to the cloud. It's about autonomous driving, and obviously about bringing AI into the car and into the digital life space of the customers. So to do this, you have a lot of change on the hardware and platform level. So you have to build your vehicle software, your hardware, the whole world of electric vehicle. Therefore, you need to change inside of your organization. You have to become a software-defined company. You have to overcome silo thinking. You have to use new methods, new tools, and another form of working together, and bring AI into your processes. The environment is changing as well, now and then, So the customer demands are changing. We see the rise of new business models. Web 3.0 is entering the stage, augmented reality, digital twins, and so on. Just some examples how the complexity or the variety is on the rise. And especially in Europe, the field of security, regulation, homologation is really important, and the field of sustainability and CSRD. I mentioned that there is a lot of change pressure within the organization, and this is in two dimensions. One is to become more digital. Yeah. But sorry to say that that's not really helpful. Yeah. It's the solution is not to bring more digital power or more AI into the processes. The companies have to change on their organizational culture, leadership side. This is what I express with the word the change from hardware defined to software defined, and this is really a big challenge. Not only in automotive, I would say this is relevant for more or less all industries, that to bring the customer experience up, the costs down, to speed up, you have to tackle the challenge to become more digital and AI driven and to change your culture. And in automotive, to focus it on perhaps one claim, the main change is that in the last years an OEM stood the term OEM stood for original equipment manufacturer, just to put metal and some rubber and so on together and build a car. Now it's to become an original experience manufacturer, to understand the customer better and to build the right experience. So I would say the fundamental change in this industry. And these are some points what we recommend, what our customers should do. And as VSM experts, you can see there are a lot of things relating to the world of VSM. And I don't want to show you now how I modeled a specific company or a specific department in automotive. I want to show you my thoughts about the main change in the automotive sector from a global perspective. So what you can see here is a model of the whole automotive supply chain. These are the systems one, and a company like Volkswagen, BMW, Ford, GM, and so on, they come from an age where they were the biggest player in the supply chain, a huge system one, and a dominant player in the system 3 to 5. So I try to visualize the whole automotive ecosystem, with the suppliers, raw materials, at the end of life cycle, recycling, and so on. And what we see now is that system 3 to system 5 is more a shared systems where all the players in the supply chain have a role, and not the OEM is the dominant player. So from an OEM perspective, they are facing the challenge that they have to play a dual role, to manage the whole ecosystem, but on shared values, and managing the mindset shift from competitive advantage to collaborative advantage, and on the other hand to play their role on the system one level.
Wow, that's if I may just interrupt, that's very interesting. If you could go back one step. I actually never looked at it like that, but it makes a lot of sense. What you're saying, what I understand, is we had in the industry had a dominant system one doing all the 3, 4, 5 stuff by himself.
Yes.
And now we have a completely different situation. If you say dominant system one, what does dominant mean? Are we talking about relative market share? About what? About what size? What is dominant?
Dominant in terms of that, perhaps it's how the from a system one perspective, in the recent years, an OEM was able to overrule all the other system ones. Yeah, so they told the tier ones, hey, you have to accept our rules. Yeah, you have to deliver to this
are we
price
talking
and
about
so on.
50% of the market share, or more
Yeah.
or less than that?
Sometimes, yes, it depends on the OEM or on the structure of the supply chain. But now, yeah, another example, if you're a chip supplier in the automotive industry, yeah, you have a strong lever, yeah, on the OEMs right now, because if you don't deliver the chips, the SDVs, an OEM can't build an SDV, and so yeah, there is
shift of importance,
yeah. So, but just as one thought about applying the VSM to automotive,
very interesting.
I would jump to AI. Yeah, all of you know these charts, so we see a big shift. I make a pause. John, you have a question? Please go for it.
Thank you. One of the things in Stafford's book that I'm going to pull out in a minute that you all know, the fourth book on the organization, he uses Canada as an example. Well, Ontario is half of the map. So that circle is 10 times as big as the one for Newfoundland and Nova Scotia. So the point that I think you're making now is simply that the big three did have dominant control of every step of the process. And so what the subcontractors all did was they found a niche that was able to accommodate what the demands were. There's a guy named Stormer who's got parts of every car ever made, but he started with the rear view mirror. And then he just started he's in Canada. He just started mass producing the subcontractors and drove out the market. So that was a way that he was a definer, even though he wasn't part of the big three. But what you're saying now, the example you gave was the best example I can think of now. What you mean?
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. I suggest we keep it in the chat room for the moment so that we don't interrupt too much, but afterwards we have enough time to discuss them. But it's an interesting observer, dominant system one, and an interesting observation of from yours, Jan, as well.
Okay.
Please continue,
Thank you. So, what we see right now is AI is the new electricity, so to say. This is a fundamental shift, and we just saw the beginning yet. I related to the time, I won't go into the details of AI and which different levels and so on, just to invite you to one thought. When electricity entered the stage, everyone thought about illumination. That was the first thought. We bring light into the houses and to the streets. But electricity brought much, much more. In AI, the first step were the chatbots. Everyone thought, oh, it's cool. Let's build a POC with a chatbot and so on. What we see right now is agentic AI is entering the stage, and the next step is physical AI. So we will be the generation who will prompt against the real world, and bring all the humanoid robotics and so on, AI driven into our lives. And so it started with chatbots, but there is much, much more disruption potential in AI. And it's an enormous amount of money flowing into this field. And the problem is that from an OEM perspective, yeah, the OEMs have to tackle on the right side the integration, the cloud infrastructure, the foundation models, the applications, and so on, have to spend money to bring AI into their organizations and into their products. And on the left-hand side, from the customer's perspective, there is no willingness to pay for AI. So right now, the industry is facing an era where you have to make the right bets and the right investments, but there are no returns on the other side. So yeah, it's really a hard change. Yeah, and
is that really the case that there's no returns?
No,
that was astonishing to me.
There, obviously, the AI companies, they make money or will make money. Yeah, but we did a survey in 2 years ago when we asked mobility customers about their willingness to pay and so on. And the answers were for some pay-as-you-use models and so on, very low. Yeah, and I asked myself, why is that? And I came to the answer that perhaps because from a client perspective, a car is not a smartphone on wheels, yeah, because a smartphone is an everyday product. You can buy a new one every year, every 2 years. A car is more an investment or an asset. And if you buy an asset, yeah, then you are not very motivated to pay on top every month for something that your smartphone is able to do as well, yeah, in the field of digital services and AI. Closing this chapter, regarding to the time, with our customers, we discuss different levels of the track to become an AI native organization. Yeah, we see a lot of customers in the experimental phase, yeah, doing some proof of concept theater, yeah, because I would say the AI pilot era is over. Yeah, you have to focus on real problems, customer related problems or problems inside of your organization, and try to solve these problems with AI. Yeah. Then AI inspired, supported, and so on. I will share the charts later on, and the goal is to become AI native, but this is a long way.
Where are we currently on that curve? Is everybody company completely different on different levels, or can you say something about tendencies?
Yeah, I would say the majority is really on the left-hand side. Yeah, they are
experimental or inspired.
Inspired, yeah, perhaps supported, but
in the valley of
it took
tears.
I would say it took us more than 25 years to manage the digital transformation. Yeah, and sometimes I ask my clients, is there anywhere a process based on paper? Yeah, and sometimes I get the answer, yeah, some processes are still running on paper. Yeah, and then are a lot of processes powered by PowerPoint and Excel. Yeah, and so there is a long way to go to manage kind of the old digital transformation.
Yeah.
And now we are talking about AI. That's the next big step. But this is perhaps a good moment to think about how can we bring AI and VSM together. Yeah, that I would like to invite you to the following chart, that we have to think about what does AI make with organizations. So, and what you can see here is a matrix. Yeah, consultants love visualizations with a matrix. So on the x-axis, it's the system 1 perspective, and on the y-axis, the systems 2 to 5 Excellent. I showed this last year on the Meta Forum. So down and left, this is what we all know. Yeah, human-driven systems 1 and human-driven systems 2 to 5. Yeah, human-driven leadership and so on. What we see right now is a shift to the right. Yeah, that AI is entering the stage into the systems 1. Yeah, that processes are enhanced with AI. That sometimes the first agents are doing value creation on system 1 level. And this leads to, because agents, they are able to work 24/7, scalable. Yeah, they will speed up all the processes within the organizations on system 1 level. And this will create a rise of variety. So from a VSM perspective, we have to answer the question how to deal with this. Yeah, and what obviously will take place is that AI will also become part of the systems 2, 3, 3-star, 4, and 5. Yeah, and it's, as I mentioned, it's just the beginning, and we will see in the corner top right, we will see organizations where the value creation and the leadership management part, so to say, will be mainly AI driven, and not today, not tomorrow. Yeah, the first startups say, hey, we do the stuff this way. Yeah, but it from my perspective, it will take some time. Yeah, but we have to think about it. What does this make with organizations, and how can we, or perhaps more the question, could the VSM provide answers to this? From my perspective,
so if I just may sum up, just to sum up my own understanding, what you're saying is, on one hand, that looking at the whole industry in supply chains, if you look at the VSM lens, supply chains and companies got in general a completely different role in the whole construction, the whole steering system of the supply chains. It's important to steer supply chains and not only being well, if you were the dominant one, maybe that was even better, but it's not the case anymore, right? Dominant system ones. The other thing is AI and how it is used in organizations. What you say, mostly still experimental, in the experimental stage, but also on one hand, what you're saying here is that currently we're on the lower right. Is that what I understood?
Here on the lower left.
On the lower left, currently.
Yeah, and I will take your question to jump to the kind of last chapter of my presentation, because I think some answers are lying in the next charts, because so it's really challenging to bring AI to life and to get a real effort back from your so to say AI aspirations from a company perspective. So a lot of pilots fail. It's a huge amount of money spent on AI. What I'm currently doing, and Angela, this could be perhaps interesting for the next Meta Forum. I have a detailed look on what are the experts saying. So what is Accenture, McKinsey, and so on saying about how to become an AI native company? And the first details about this is that a lot of Gen AI pilots fail. The EBIT impact is less than expected. It's really a struggle to scale AI. It's really complicated to build the new culture I need in my company. They are struggling. How can I set up governance? Yeah, and that was perhaps this could be a KPI for managing variety inside the organization. McKinsey says for every dollar spent into tech, into AI, you have to spend $5 as a company to develop your people to be able to work and manage AI and the work environment in the future. Yeah, and
the viable system model to build a system 5 for the usage of AI, so to speak, a
yes,
corporate
yes,
policy
yes.
system to make sure
Yep.
things are not running out of control.
Yeah, you need system 5. You need to learn to think in recursion levels. Yeah, because if you start an agent deep down in your organization, yeah, the agent will be able to communicate and interact on all your organizational levels. Yeah, so you have to think your governance through all your recursion levels, and that's only one part. Yeah, the other part is that yeah, a lot of pathologies we see in organizations when we apply the VSM, yeah, the interaction of system 3 and system 4. Yeah, there are a lot of possibilities to solve or to cure these pathologies with AI. Yeah, you can set up in a lot of organizations the S4, the system 4 is too weak. Yeah, and using the capabilities of AI of today, yeah, you're able with yeah, some prompts and some nerds to set up a perfect system 4, which is running 24/7 and simulating different scenarios, mapping your strategy against your environment and so on. And this will have an impact on your organization on every level and on every system. Yeah, and
so,
we will, yeah. And
so, yeah, please. No, go on. I just wanted to sum up, but okay, go on.
So I just have a look at the time, so I would skip some charts.
No, so yeah. Just let me bring in my thoughts. So what you're saying here is there's a big, it's not only a window of opportunity, I think it's a big challenge that a lot of money is spent on the question, what are we going to do with that? With that Pandora's box that has been opened, and a lot of money is at risk, and not only at money, but I think a lot more is at risk, right? Yeah. And the question is, in relation of VSM, you see two things actually. One is VSM for AI, so to speak, and the other is AI for VSM. So VSM for AI means using the model to build a system 5, so to speak, for AI, or also to say where is AI used in what sense, because I think decision structures and AI and VSM are closely related with each other. And the other thing I understood is usage AI for VSM, and you say, well, we can also much easier apply the VSM in the future in organizations. Is that correct? My understanding?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, obviously.
Are you here talking about design? Do you think it will be used in the design? Have you experience with that also, the usage of VSM design? I could imagine that it's helpful there. I don't have personal experience here. I could imagine it's important there, but also for running a system, perhaps in terms of operation rooms, decision environments, or controls.
Yeah, of course. So both. So from a consulting perspective, I would say that the VSM could be very, very helpful to to help your clients to become really an AI native company, yeah, because from a organizational perspective, I would say that you have to start from the end. So you have a perspective of outcome engineering. Yeah, not to start a pilot or a POC and try who perhaps it fails or not. So you have to define the outcome, and then you have to engineer the way to reach these output. And
because things get otherwise too easily out of control because it's too risky, or why?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, too risky, and it's the biggest challenge is that a roadmap doesn't solve the problem, yeah, so to say. Yeah, you need a model which is more comprehensive and more kind of a 30-60-degree model than the common consulting models. And I just give me a moment. Where is it? My hypothesis is that applying the AI to the challenges of bringing AI into your organization will be really helpful, and perhaps it's the only model that really can get you the answers you need. Yeah, and another example here is it's from the book of from Martin Hofmann, former Volkswagen CIO, the Agentic Enterprise, and he says you need to become an agentic enterprise. It's about autonomy, purpose, learning, judgment, and so on. And these are all the fields we know from the VSM.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
interesting.
And he doesn't mention VSM one time. Yeah, the same as that, or the other consultancies. They are arguing in the world or in the field of VSM without mentioning VSM, because perhaps they don't know it, or they think, okay, we cannot bring VSM into our studies or whatsoever. Yeah, but it's highly related to the philosophy of the VSM.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Let me try to sum up you have other things, but if you can go one step back, if I try to understand once more, then what you're saying is that VSM, AI, and decision structures, leadership structures. That's what Hoffman said also, right? Leadership structures, they need to be, and decision structures, that's what we do with the VSM, communication, leaderships, control, decision structures. They need to be designed so that things are viable, and we have the AI technology. It's a challenge, and to use it productively, we need to bring it in a form where it's the outcome is a viability and not something else, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Thank you.
And I'm coming to the end. So McKinsey, published more than eight, but I'm only referencing on 8 different publications, and in all of them, it's they are highly in the field of cybernetics and so on without mentioning it, just to give an example, so leadership disconnect, system 5 identity is missing. We have the problem at different speeds. The AI agents on system 1 level are much faster than humans. How to solve this disconnect in terms of variety. We have I mentioned it, lack on system 4 level and so on. So to have time for some further discussions. The starting question was, is the VSM a 50-year-old solution to a 2026 problem?
Yeah.
From my perspective, yes. And yeah, I'm
excellent.
happy.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Interesting insights, interesting topics. Yeah. Before I continue with questions from my side, or before I try more to sum up things, let's just hand it over to the guests tonight. Who would like to start? Do you have anything to say to what Jan was giving us as a...
If I may, I'm Michael.
Please.
Hi. Thanks,
Hi,
Jan,
Michael.
for your presentation, and thanks, Martin, for organizing. It just crosses my mind, and it keeps sticking in it. The V in VSM is for viable.
Yeah.
How does it? I mean, how does it really pair well with artificial intelligence? And so when you said the VSM for AI. Here I struggle a bit. When I go for AI for VSM, then it's just an application for any other thing, which we are testing and everyone is testing. Can
VSM
you
for
try
AI is a question, yeah.
Yeah, really the viable part for something artificial. That's where I am. I find it paradox, to be honest.
Yeah. But yeah, it is, and it's a very good question from my perspective. Yeah, if you bring AI agents to your organization, yeah, then perhaps we have to think about a agent life cycle. Yeah, and there is kind of the birth, and the agent grows and learns. Yeah, then is the kind of a high peak of the agent. Yeah, and then it's about to think at the beginning about the end of the agent and the end of the life cycle. Yeah, and we will have to set up ethical guardrails for agents. Yeah, we have to define on a system 5 level what decisions are you allowed to make as an agent and what not. Yeah, and that's so I don't have the final answer for it yet. Yeah, but I'm really convinced that if we together apply the perspective and the thoughts behind the VSM to exactly these questions, we make sure that we don't forget anything, and that we are able to set up a viable AI-driven company, so to say. Yeah.
Thank you. Right.
So what you're saying is that you want to see the VSM as a framework for a new technology.
Yes.
Not to get out of control, because we have the technology anyhow, right?
Yes. Because there is a risk that due to the reason that AI is so fast and AI out of control, I would say there is a risk that the system will collapse. Yeah. So we will have to think about these risks, obviously. Yeah.
John, please. You're muted, John.
You're on mute, John.
Is that better?
Now we hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Jan. That was really fascinating. And these are debates we have all the time in the Metaforum community, the role of AI and the VSM and how they fit together. And I mean, I think more and more we come to the conclusion, which is very similar to yours, that the VSM is an extremely useful and powerful framework to develop AI within.
Yes.
particularly within the whole issue of the ethics and the System 5 and how that percolates through the whole system. What I was most interested in asking you is how you see the relationship between people and AI, because in that 2x2 matrix you had, it was either AI was doing things or people were doing things. And certainly the way that I think, well, my personal view on how it should develop is that AI always provides information, but the final decision is always a human being. And there's been a lot of publicity recently about AI being used to do things like tell patients when they're ready to go home from hospital, and people being sent home in terrible conditions and dying. I mean, very serious stuff.
Yeah.
And giving AI the final decision, I think at the moment with the state it's in is a huge mistake, and everything has to run through. You ask the AI a question, it provides you with extraordinary good data. I mean, particularly in the System 4 role, it can gather information that you didn't even know existed. And I think that's extraordinarily useful, but eventually that comes back. And there was one of the slides you had where you always have to be aware that humans have wisdom and that AI doesn't. And it can do terrible things, which is exactly what the algorithm is telling it should be doing. But without the human judgment and the VSM framework, it can be extremely dangerous.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny, if I may, John, I very much like your comment. The opposite is also true. People can do terrible things.
Yes.
And one of the most striking things that I observe over decades now is the churn of people in an organization that leads to short memory problems, right? So an organization doesn't really learn because there's always people with a short horizon, and that is could be one of the pros for AI, because it doesn't forget easily. Where I think it would be fascinating to have another conversation maybe is using the VSM to put AI not to artificial intelligence, but augmented intelligence, so that AI also doesn't stay in the bubble it's learning from, but it gets, it's involved into a viable system because of people feeding it and becoming creative, etc., including the values and so on. Thanks.
It's entirely very much like it. It was going through my head, would I rather have AI run in the United States of America at the moment?
Angela.
I don't comment on this.
Maybe it does. Maybe it does.
Angela.
After John's question, I don't have any other interesting question to add, but anyway, just joking. So I was curious, Jan, when you were describing in the beginning the idea of using AI not only to see a company, an automotive industry on its own, but to sort of support the industry. So thinking about the industry and VSM as a way of helping the industry to develop their own intelligence in terms of how to best use AI. And I was fascinated with this possibility because we have seen with John, we had the opportunity of exploring a cleaner production network in Mexico with a lot of companies that were producing part, actually, in the automobile industry. And they were all like 100 companies getting together and trying to develop better ways to clean the production chain. And it was and we did the design of the network, because the learning network with the VSM, and we learned a lot in terms of what will be the way to improve communication and learning and intelligence of the whole network. Is that the kind of thing that you have in mind when you think about the VSM of the industry in terms of
it's one example. It's one example. So I think this is a really unexplored and broad field, so to say, and from my perspective, using this example, we will see AI agents of different companies arguing about the same, I don't know, challenges in the here and now environment and try to find a solution. Yeah, and to bring it to an answer for John's question, you're absolutely right. At the end, yeah, in a lot of decision fields, the last call should be made by a human. Yeah, but in not so critical decision fields, yeah, there are a lot of examples that companies are using AI agents to arguing better prices. Yeah,
a good example is automated driving, right? A lot of decisions are taken by the car, but not everything.
Yes, and but this leads again back to we need system 5 in place and so on, all the other systems. We have to create system 3 star for agents. I would say that we have to think about digital twins of agents, that we can track all their decisions, that we can measure, are they in line in their playing field inside of the VSM, or are they evolving their role, and perhaps the same with humans, that they are and you know the cases perhaps better than me, that humans try to take over a role on another recursion level in another system whatsoever, and
everything that makes people difficult. Yes,
and
also
and
charming.
Yes,
but I think an interesting conclusion. I mean, we have discussed last time the question of are we using AI on the right side of the equation, of the variety equation, right? And maybe we're
designing
not.
freedom.
That's another question. But seeing AI as an amplifier for decision structures and communication structures. That's, I think, interesting, because I think that's exactly what it is. It's an amplifier for decision structures, which are leading structures, which are VSM structures if they work, mostly not. And that's, I think, that's where the VSM has its right to exist, so to speak, in the future also.
Yes, and a good example. But you have also to make sure that you really have kind of a creative AI. There was a study that a company enlarged their consultant teams with AI, and the results were the consultant teams became faster, and produced a better quality, but they were less creative. So the kind of solution field was much narrower than without AI.
That has to do with the question of amplification or attenuation in the variety equation, right? Right. Exactly. But I mean, if it is an amplifier for decision structure, then it's decisive if you have good or bad decision structures. Because if you have bad ones, and most companies have bad ones, then you're amplifying what is bad, right? So even more important to think about these things. Yes.
So
very interesting.
Really need to bring VSM to the organizations really fast.
Yes, there's a need. There's a window of opportunity, a window of challenge. I don't know how we want to call it, but definitely a need for it, a right to exist. Thank you very much for being my guest tonight. We were a small group. It was like how do you say that in English, John? Is it not a chimney fire, a fire camp discussion, so to speak, sitting around the fire and discussing with a small group of people? Campfire discussion. Thank you. But thank you very much for sharing your thoughts, your experiences. We could go on of course, but it's Eastern time and it's nice weather in Switzerland. At least we're having evening now, and I guess you can also enjoy a nice evening or a nice day wherever you are. Thank you very much. Next time, last words. Next time, share my screen once more. Just before I forget it, Outlook, next practitioner seminar is in May. Dr. Felix Scheeb is telling us from an application case, the German industry application case of the VSM. And we have some others. If you want to discuss something special, or if you want to hear something special, leave a note in the chat, please. Yes. And with that, once more, thank you very much, Jan, for being with us. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Thank you, everybody, for being with us here tonight, for sharing our interest. And let's keep on rocking. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Jan.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Jan.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Markus ist noch hier. Der ist wahrscheinlich schon am Kochen und läuft im Hintergrund noch irgendwo. Jetzt verlässt die Besprechung. So, du, ja, sorry, waren wenig Leute.
Transkription, warte mal, Transkription müssen wir noch stoppen.
Das muss ich noch stoppen, genau, ja. Das können wir ja schneiden dann auch am Schluss.
Ja.
So, wie stoppe ich das? Aufzeichnen, transkribieren, Aufzeichnung beenden.